Have you ever had to make a small tweak or adjustment to your form due to a nagging injury or drastic fluctuation in your body weight giving you different leverages? And then it seems like all your strength and all the gains that you've been working on have gone out the window? That's where I'm at. If you've had your eye on literature in the past year, you'd know of the book called Atomic Habits. It's a book about how small changes can drastically change lifestyles, where each chapter is about a paragraph of good advice and the rest of the book is explaining how the author is better than you. But at the beginning of the book, he describes an example of if you are flying from New York to around Los Angeles and you change your trajectory by 3 degrees before takeoff, you end up in Tijuana instead of Los Angeles. Which is all and cool if you want cocaine instead of tent villages, but everyone knows that powerlifting's about consistency, right? And that's where you'd be wrong. If you are consistent in the gym, doing your cardio, doing your hypertrophy work, following a diet, a nutrition plan, you will be building muscle. And when you build muscle or lose fat, your leverages change. So if you peel back the first layer of the onion of powerlifting, you realize that consistency causes inconsistency. And powerlifting and strength sports isn't actually about consistency. And rather, the whole spectrum and world of strength sports is all centered around your adaptability. Adaptability is your ability to respond to change. The changes you'll have to adapt to in strength sports is body weight fluctuations, body composition changes, changes in ability of range of motion, inconsistencies in judging, and a whole lot of other things. So let's say you compete and you get your opener squat on your third attempt because you can't hit depth for the life of you. That is an indicator that something needs to change. Or maybe you can only get your opener deadlift because you dropped the bar on your other 2 attempts. That's an indicator that something needs to change. These are 2 examples of changes that I have to deal with currently. And my current block in the offseason has challenged my adaptability. So let's take a look at the first example, missing my first 2 squats at the American Pro and only getting my opener on my third. Mobility is a major factor when it comes to hitting depth on squats during powerlifting meets. If you have bad mobility, you're going to have a bad time. The ankles, the knees, the hips. These are the 3 joints in the body where range of motion or lack of mobility will hinder your squat. Now, you can work on these and increase your mobility, but you still might not be able to hit depth, all because it's too little too late. So another solution would be to add squat shoes to your squat to give yourself a little more room to hit depth. If you notice your heels coming up when you're squatting, chances are you likely need squat shoes, because your heels coming up is your body screaming for extra room. So I personally elected to both add squat shoes and increase my mobility in both my ankles, knees, and hips. Because I'll be damned if I miss another squat opener. And then some unexpected changes also occurred. So instead of ending up in LA from New York, my squat plane ended up in Tijuana. You see, when you squat, you want your center of mass in the middle of your foot. But when you add a heel to your foot, you turn your foot from a flat rectangle to a triangle, due to the angle with the floor. Geometrically speaking, triangles and rectangles have different centers of mass. The rectangle is easy because the middle is the middle, but triangles on the other hand have a point called the centroid, which is 2/3 of the way towards the back. I had not noticed this difference until I developed knee pain, and I learned that I needed to sit back more when squatting. And my coach and I developed a new set of cues which allows me to sit back more onto that centroid in my foot. But the problem is, every time you make a change, your strength drops a little. So my strength dropped, my confidence fell, and my form went to shit. The knee pain came back. So back to the drawing board, we learned that we needed to add another cue to allow my knees to track correctly. Since the muscle memory hadn't been developed in my system yet, the new cue was overwriting some of the muscle memories from the other cues that I used to have previously. So now we have new cues for my knees tracking correctly and me sitting back further on my squat. And the strength has dipped again. Now, most would get pessimistic and see 2 major strength drops as a negative thing in their powerlifting journey, but that's a short-minded mindset. The way I see it is the new cues are developing new muscle groups, incorporating the correct muscle groups to reduce the risk of injury, and also increasing the consistency of form in the squat. So while the strength may be down right now, as I progress, the ceiling strength of my squat is going to increase considerably, because both the range of motion and consistency in the form is going to reduce the amount of injuries potential, as well as increasing the efficiency of the squat. So the top end range of the squat is going to be much greater than it had been previously. Now this story is all good and well for a lift that I've been consistently great at, but what does this mean for a lift that I haven't been so good at, known as the deadlift? And that's the thing, on face it means nothing, but the approach means everything. By approaching the deadlift and creating new cues to put me in better starting positions and get myself into the correct positions throughout the lift, a reduction in the amount of rolling the bar does in my hands due to grinding on my super thick, super large, super heavyweight legs, reduces the amount of rolling in the hands, allowing me to grip the bar better and more consistently. Once we had the new cues in place and my deadlift was more consistent, more powerful, and better in general, we added a grip strengthening phase of long hold deadlifts. So sometimes an issue is only an issue because you haven't addressed other things. My lack in grip strength was due to the fact that I used to muscle everything up. My deadlift form was inconsistent, which caused problems when performing the deadlift on the platform. So I fixed the inconsistencies and it's no longer a problem. But I am aware this is all anecdotal data based on myself, as well as all other athletes that my coach has helped with, and we're not really going to be able to see the differences come to fruition until we perform on the platform. So not only am I excited for the next 17 weeks of training, but I am excited to see how I perform on the platform at the next American Pro. It's going to be something to be witnessed. So powerlifting basically isn't about consistency at all. It's about your ability to change based on the changes that occur from that consistency. Adaptability trumps all when it comes to powerlifting. Because if you can't handle getting stronger, there's no point to getting stronger. So you have to be able to adapt to the changes in your leverages that come with the ability to get stronger and the results of that journey, where you lose fat, you gain muscle, your size changes, your body weight goes up, it goes down, things happen, and your success in the sport of powerlifting is going to be all dependent on your ability to adapt to those changes. It's not just about gaining strength, it's about gaining the skill set required in order to perform with the set of leverages that you currently have. And that's why a lot of people dislike the sumo deadlift, because it's a leverage lift. Smaller people are better at the sumo deadlift, which is kind of backwards thinking compared to, well, all the other lifts. The heavier people, the bigger guys, are going to end up being stronger than the little guys. So keep up joining me and following along with my journey as I adapt to the changes in the programming. My body composition has gone through a wicked change since the last American Pro. And pretty much that's all I can say. We are 17 weeks out from the American Pro 2. We're going to put on a performance that will never be forgotten. Allegedly. So be sure to subscribe to be part of the OG crew, to tell people that, yeah, you followed me even before I made Jesus cry. It's fantastic.